Everyone told her it was impossible. Born into a world where dreams weren't meant for someone like her, Nia faced more obstacles than most could ever imagine. People believed she could only exist in the cage they'd put her in, confined by walls that told her what she could or couldn't do. They said she was just another animal, another face in the crowd. But Nia, she was different. She had a fire inside, a spark that couldn't be extinguished. It wasn't just survival that drove her, it was the desire to be something more, to be seen, to be heard, to break free from the cage and show the world that she was capable of so much more than they ever thought possible. Nia was born in captivity, a young gorilla in a world that wasn't built for dreams. From the moment she opened her eyes, she was met with the cold metal of the zoo's enclosure, a constant reminder of the life she was supposed to lead. The other gorillas around her were quiet, resigned to their fate, but not Nia. She was different. She had a spark in her eyes that made the trainers stop and look. She wasn't just content with the usual routine. She was curious. She watched the people who came to visit, studied the faces of the children who pressed their hands against the glass, and wondered about the world beyond her cage. When she was still just a baby, she would watch the humans around her, trying to make sense of their movements, their laughter, and the strange way they interacted with each other. It wasn't long before she began to imitate them. At first, it was simple things, small gestures, a wave, a nod, or a mimic of their laughter. But over time, those small imitations turned into something bigger, something that couldn't be ignored. The trainers, however, didn't see it the same way. They told her that it was just instinct, that a gorilla's place was in the wild, not on a stage, not performing tricks or mimicking humans. But Nia didn't care about what they said. She had bigger dreams, ones that didn't involve staying in a cage for the rest of her life. She wanted to be seen, to show the world that she was capable of more than just existing. Even as a young gorilla, Nia knew that the world beyond the bars held something more for her, something more than anyone expected. And with every look she threw toward the sky or every step she took in her small enclosure, she was silently daring to imagine a life she knew could be hers if she kept fighting for it. Nia's journey wasn't easy. The struggles she faced were overwhelming, and yet she never gave up. From the very beginning, it was clear that the life she was living wasn't the one she was meant for. She was constantly moved from one zoo to another, each time in a new cage, each time further from the jungle she was born into. With every relocation, the hope she once had began to fade a little more. The zookeepers saw her as a problem. They didn't understand why she wasn't following the same path as the other gorillas. They couldn't understand why she didn't fit into the rigid system they had for their animals. Every time they tried to train her, she seemed to do everything differently. Her movements weren't like the others, and she didn't respond to the same commands. The trainers grew frustrated, even annoyed. They tried to make her conform to the usual routine, stand on command, clap, follow a set pattern, but Nia couldn't, or maybe she just wouldn't. But despite the confusion around her, something was always there, just beneath the surface, a quiet, stubborn spirit that refused to be broken. Nia wasn't like the others, and no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't fit her into their mold. Every time they tried to make her act like a proper gorilla, she'd find a way to break free, whether it was by mimicking something she saw or simply refusing to do what they expected. Even as the days turned into months and the months into years, Nia didn't give up. Her eyes always sparkled with curiosity, always searching for something more. She didn't know what it was, but she knew it was out there, waiting for her to find it. And even though she couldn't explain it to the humans around her, there was a quiet determination in her heart that no cage could suppress. Everything changed when Emma arrived. She was a new zookeeper, fresh to the zoo, and eager to make a difference. Emma was different from the others. While most trainers saw Nia as just another challenge, Emma saw something more, a unique intelligence, a spirit that couldn't be ignored. She noticed the way Nia would look at her, The way her eyes seemed to follow every movement, every gesture, as if she was trying to communicate something, to understand something more. At first, Emma wasn't sure what to make of it. She had worked with many animals, but none had ever displayed such a deep curiosity about the world around them. So, she decided to try something different. Rather than forcing Nia to conform to the usual training methods, Emma began to work with her on her own terms. She started using music, rhythm, and visual cues, seeing if Nia would respond to something outside the usual commands. And to Emma's amazement, Nia did. The first time she played a simple beat for Nia, something clicked. Nia's head tilted to the side. Then her feet began to tap, almost as if she was keeping time with the rhythm. Emma was stunned. For the first time, Nia wasn't just mimicking human movements. She was interacting. She was engaged. The more Emma worked with Nia, the more they connected. Emma began to understand Nia in ways no one else had, and Nia seemed to trust Emma completely. Their sessions turned into something beautiful, an exchange of energy, of emotions, and of ideas. Nia responded to the music with movements that were graceful, fluid, and uniquely her own. She wasn't just following commands. She was creating something, expressing herself in a way that no one had ever seen before. With each passing day, Nia grew more confident. She started to show more of herself, her personality, her energy. She was no longer just an animal trapped in a cage. She was a creature of incredible talent and spirit, and Emma was determined to help the world see it. One day, Emma decided to take a risk. She filmed a short clip of Nia dancing to the beat, her movements flowing and natural, her spirit undeniable. Emma posted the video online, not expecting much, but what happened next was nothing short of extraordinary. The video quickly went viral. The world had never seen anything like it. People from all over the globe were amazed at how Nia, a gorilla, could move with such grace, how she seemed to connect with the music in a way that was so human, so real. It wasn't long before the comments started pouring in. People wanted to see more. They wanted to know about Nia's story, about the gorilla who had dared to dream, the one who had refused to be defined by her cage. Before long, offers began flooding in. Documentaries wanted to feature Nia's story, and animal welfare organizations were eager to bring attention to the plight of animals in captivity, using Nia's incredible talents as a symbol of resilience and hope. Nia's viral video became the face of a new movement, one that pushed for better treatment of animals and highlighted the potential that so many had overlooked. But it didn't stop there. Nia's story inspired more than just animal advocates. People everywhere began to see her as a symbol of determination and hope, proof that even in the toughest circumstances, you could rise above and find your voice. It was a message that resonated with people from all walks of life. Soon, Nia's fame reached new heights. She was invited to perform at charity events, her dance routines broadcasted across the world. But more than the performances, she became a symbol of what happens when we dare to look beyond the surface, when we recognize the potential in others, even those we once thought incapable. And through it all, Nia never changed. She stayed true to herself, her spirit unbroken, her heart still full of that same fire that had burned within her from the very beginning. After all the attention, after the performances and the viral fame, Nia was finally given something she had always dreamed of: freedom. She was relocated to a special sanctuary, a place where rescued animals like her could live in a more natural environment, away from the confines of the zoo. This sanctuary wasn't just any place. It was a lush, expansive land, designed to offer the animals the space and the freedom they had long been denied. Nia's new home was a peaceful refuge where she could roam, explore, and live life on her own terms. It was here, in this vast open space, that Nia truly began to blossom. For the first time, she could run freely, climb trees, and interact with other animals in a way that felt natural to her. But Nia didn't stop there. She still had that same passion, that same desire to connect with the world. She continued to dance, to move to the rhythm of life, to express herself in ways that only she could. But this time, it wasn't for an audience or a camera. It was for herself. It was for the joy of movement, for the pure freedom she had longed for. The world had once confined her to a cage, but now she had the entire world at her feet. And she reveled in it. Emma, who had been by Nia's side through everything, often visited the sanctuary. She would bring along her book, The Gorilla Spirit, inspired by Nia's incredible journey. The book became a way for children to understand the power of resilience, the importance of freedom, and the idea that no matter where you come from, you can always rise above. It wasn't just a book about a gorilla. It was about a spirit that refused to be silenced. Through the pages of the book, Nia's story touched countless lives, inspiring others to look beyond what they saw at first glance and to see the potential in every being, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Nia had done it. She had achieved her dream, not through fame or applause, but by staying true to herself and finding her freedom. She had found her place in the world, and it was more than she had ever imagined. Nia's journey from captivity to freedom wasn't just the story of a gorilla. It was the story of a spirit that refused to be confined, a reminder that no matter where you come from, your dreams are yours to chase. Through every hardship, every challenge, she never lost sight of who she was. And in the end, she showed the world that anything is possible when you dare to dream. Her story became a symbol of resilience. She was more than just an animal. She was a beacon of hope for those who had been told they couldn't. And while the world may have initially seen her as just a gorilla, Nia proved that there's so much more beneath the surface. She showed us that the heart and spirit can't be caged, and that even the toughest of circumstances can't hold back the drive to reach for something greater. In her new home, Nia was finally able to live her life fully, unburdened by the limitations of her past. The joy of running freely, climbing trees, and interacting with others was the reward she had earned through years of struggle. But it wasn't just the physical freedom that mattered. It was the emotional and spiritual liberation she had found within herself. No longer confined by expectations or boundaries, Nia had become the embodiment of the idea that true freedom comes when you are allowed to be exactly who you are. Her story touched people all over the world, from children who read Emma's book to adults who found inspiration in her strength. Nia's dance, her spirit, her journey, they reminded everyone that no matter how small or powerless we may seem at times, we each have the power to overcome and achieve our dreams. As we look at Nia, free and full of life in the sanctuary, we can't help but remember that she's a symbol of what happens when we refuse to give up. Her story is a testament to the power of belief, the strength of resilience, and the unbreakable spirit that resides within us all. If Nia's story has touched your heart, then you know that the spirit of resilience is something that should never be forgotten. It's a reminder that no matter the obstacles, no matter the challenges, the dreamers can always find a way to rise above. Nia's journey is one of strength, one of breaking through barriers and showing the world that even when the odds are stacked against you, there's always hope. If you found inspiration in her story, we encourage you to like this video, share it with others who may need a reminder that anything is possible, and subscribe to our channel for more stories of incredible beings who dared to dream and made those dreams a reality. And remember, whether you're human or animal, every spirit deserves a chance to shine. Let Nia's story be a beacon for us all, showing us that no matter where we start, we all have the potential to overcome, to grow, and to achieve our wildest dreams.